Hey, it's your friend Christiano, and welcome to the Queer Quest podcast. Hello, all you fabulous souls, and welcome to this episode of the Queer Quest podcast. And this is another episode of Dear Christiano. Now, this week on Dear Christiano, I really wanted to talk about something that's been going on in my life recently, and it's all about the shame spiral. It's all about self-acceptance and honoring, who we are and the actions that we've taken, the behaviors that we've had, and learning and understanding that shame can turn up in everyday moments. So let me give you some context as to why I'm talking about this topic specifically, because shame's been showing up for me recently. Now, for those of you who've been following along for a little while, you realize that I did a health and fitness and nutrition program a few months ago. It lasted for about 12, 13 weeks. It was called Wild Fit, and my body and my mindset and my psychology around food had completely been transformed. Now, throughout that period, you completely go off of sugars and caffeine, and just really have a really super, super clean diet to help you clear out a lot of old toxins from your body, clear out old stored fats, and get to a place where you're in really, a really nutritious, healthy way throughout your body. So I did that out, and then about maybe a month or so ago, I completed it, and everything's been going really well. Except, of course, I have been having coffee again, and I'm having sugar here and there. Of course, I went to Australia, and so my family, and so I had all of my mom's cooking, which is mostly pretty healthy, but there are, of course, some treats in there like a tiramisu, which is my mom's favorite dessert that she makes for me every time that I am with her. And so yeah, that was all fun. But over the weekend, I went on an absolute massive sugar binge. Almost felt like it was uncontrollable. I know it was, but in the moment, I just didn't want to stop. So what did I eat? I had like 3 donuts. I had this massive cookie. I had a crookie, which is like a croissant and a cookie together. And then I had a brownie. All of that within, say, 2 hours. So the next day, woke up and I was in this massive shame spiral. I was saying to myself, oh my God, I'm going to get fat again. Oh my God, what have I done? I've undone all of the work that I've done. I'm a fraud. I said that I'm doing this and I can't even follow through here. So I went down this huge, huge shame spiral. And then for a good 24 hours, I was in that cycle of why did I make these choices? What happened there? Is this what's going to happen? Am I going to go backwards? And it was just a big cycle of failing. We all know what happens when we go into those shame cycles. As queer people, we've often gone down that path of shame, and it's been a ongoing issue for some of us at different times in our lives to have to deal with shame. Because of course, as queer people, we felt shame about who we are, our sexuality, our gender, being different to the norm of society, the standard, what people want you to be, and dealing with those internal battles, the internalized dialogue of shame, meaning that you're not worthy, you're not good enough, that there's something wrong with you, that, whatever it is, you're evil, all of the things that we've used to describe ourselves. And I'm probably just being kind of polite because some of the things that I say to myself, especially back in the day when I was really going through it, would terrible. I wouldn't want to say them out loud because, they're of that dire nature. And I'm sure you can probably relate to that. So if you've ever wondered, why am I still carrying pain that doesn't even feel like mine? You're not broken. You're brilliant. But brilliance gets buried under years of shame and silence and survival. And that's why I made this. I'm Christiano Green, a queer transformation coach and the founder of Queer Quest. I created a free queer healing guide to help LGBTQA+ souls begin the journey back to themselves. Inside, you'll discover the 3 core stages of queer healing, powerful journal prompts, and a roadmap to stop surviving and start thriving. This isn't some fluffy self-help PDF. It's the spark your soul has been waiting for. You deserve to heal, not just for your past, but for your future. Download the free guide now. And if no one ever told you this before, your healing is holy and your queerness, it's your power. So grab your free guide now via the link in my bio or just comment below and I'll send it to you directly. So really what I wanted to talk about today was, of course, where I'm going from that experience, what I've taken and I'm learning from that, but also for us to reflect on how shame often hides under normal experiences in life. And it can come up at inopportune times, especially for us, we're people who've been conditioned to perform being grateful or having strength or being perfect. You know, that kind of routine that we build up to try to mask ourselves from all of the insecurities, all of the things that we felt were wrong with us. We put on a happy face, try to be perfect, try to be grateful, try to take all the crumbs. And, that's just not easy to keep up those facades because, life isn't all rainbows and butterflies. There is a downside to things. You can't always be 200% happy. You have to also have moments of sorrow or reflection or, instant gratification to kind of realize, is this actually what I want to be able to do? Now, shame will come up in the things that we do on a daily basis. So the foods that we eat, the fitness routines that we do or we don't do, our finances, comparing ourselves to other people. And we often realize that as piety-eating queers, we are especially vulnerable to this as well. And of course, we all know that there's that perfection performance that happens to people in the LGBTQIA plus community. We try to, again, hide our insecurities and we try to overcompensate. And there's this pressure to have it all together. And for me, as a coach, a creator, a leader, a business entrepreneur, someone who's really put a lot of time and effort into my mental, my physical, my emotional, my spiritual health. And sometimes with that, I have this feeling and fear that I have to be perfect. I have to always have it together. I have to talk about me achieving something or overcoming something in order for someone else to, see me as a leader or see me as a great coach or whatever it is, because, there's a part of me that wants that from other people. But I've had to really go deeper and realize, at the end of the day, sometimes it's important to talk about the struggle that I'm going through on a day-to-day basis or the things that come through my mind, which is why I created this Dear Christiano series. I stopped wanting the desire or the need to have to show up as being perfect. I wanted to show that I'm a flawed human being. Yes, I am a coach. Yes, I do help a lot of people around the world in the queer community, and I'm a leader. And people see me as a role model in certain situations. But again, I'm not perfect. I'm not level 1,000. I'm on the journey, and I keep taking a step forward. And for a lot of my clients, this is what I will always tell them. You come to me maybe because you want to heal something. You've got some traumas that you've been dealing with in your life because you were queer or because of stuff that's cultivated and culminated into this bubble and you feel overwhelmed and you come to me for support and I give you that support. And the one thing I'll always tell people is you're coming here and you might work with me for 3 months, you might work with me for a year, whatever it is that you decide to do, that healing isn't going to, you're going to have healing, of course, in that period. And you're going to have a lot of healing and a lot of self-awareness and wake-up calls and you're going to make some shifts and change and grow. And it's going to be magical. But there'll be a time when you leave working with me, and I always make sure that people are well equipped to understand that healing isn't a 3-month journey. It's not a 1-year journey. It's not a 5-year journey. It's a lifelong journey. Because continuing to work through things that have happened in our life or in our psyche or things that we struggle with is going to be an ongoing basis. There is always going to be a layer deeper for us to be able to uncover something that we are struggling with. Like I said, I've dealt with shame and overcome that and worked on it for years and years and years. But it came up in food. And for me, I had to take a step back and notice, wow, I'm feeling shame. I'm feeling this feelings of shame. And where is it coming from? It's because I put this unrealistic expectation on myself to be perfect, that now that I've done this program for myself, for my fitness, for my health, for my nutrition, for all of the things, that from now on, I'm going to be perfect. And there's never going to be a moment where I have a slip up or a mistake. So I had these too high of an expectation of myself to be perfect, which led for me to not meet my expectations, to then feel ashamed, to then deal with that. And here we are. talking about it, Nick, because I don't want my own moment of shame spiraling to go untalked about. I want other people to understand that, yes, I am deeply in a journey of lifelong healing. I've done a lot of work. I've done a lot of plant medicine. I've done so many different therapies, gone to so many different coaches, done a lot of stuff to really work through so much of my own grief, my own pain, my own anger, my own sadness, my own hurts, my own fears. But there's still more to be done. I'm not perfect. I've made a mistake here in the scheme of life, but to me, it's a learning opportunity. What am I going to take from that? Is that what was the cause of me going there? Why was I really having all of that sugar? And to be honest, I was in a low moment of that day. I was feeling a little bit unworthy. I was feeling a little bit disconnected. I've been out and about. I've had a good day with friends, and then I come home and I'm just feeling off. And so having that first donut that my partner had bought, and I had that, felt so good. So I had the second one, and then the third one. And then I said, you know what, I'm going to order some more. And I ordered cookies and the cookie, then the brownie and all that. And I ate it all because I felt good doing it in that moment. Yeah. You ever feel like the world wasn't built for you? Like you were born queer and then you had to spend your whole life recovering from what that meant to everybody else. Yeah, me too. But I turned that pain into purpose. My name is Christiano Green. I'm a queer transformation coach and the founder of QueerQuest, the world's first personal development platform created exclusively for LGBTQA plus people. We don't just talk about healing or growth and self-love. We live it. We teach it. We queer the hell out of it. I built QueerQuest because I wanted every queer person to have access to the tools, to the teachers, and to the community that helped save my life. And I'm talking emotionally, spiritually, physically, all of it. This isn't just a platform. It's a revolution of self-return. A sacred space where your queerness is celebrated, your truth is seen, and your excellence is activated. So if you're ready to grow, to heal, and to rise as the queer badass that you were born to be, come join us. Your quest begins now. Yes, is it instant gratification? Yes. Should I be trying to focus on more delayed gratification and trying to uncover why I was feeling that way? But, sometimes you're just tired and buggered, and in that moment, it's not necessarily the right moment to do it. So you choose something. And of course, it's a lot healthier than picking, 2 bottles of wine, which is what I used to do, or getting on the drugs, which is what I used to do 5-10 years ago, right? I would numb myself for those things. I didn't numb myself through fear. I just avoided it for a period. And 24 hours later, I was ready to handle it and I took it on. So I am proud of myself for realizing so quickly what something back in the day would have took me months, if not years, to sometimes deal with or process or understand. I did something. I avoided dealing with that by getting something. I was feeding my dopamine, feeding my, yum, yum, yum. Took that, let myself realize there was a chain spiral. But by the end of the day, said, what's going to happen next? So I've got a plan that I'm going to put forth, and I'm doing something over the next 30 days, which is a challenge for me. I'm keeping it quiet only because I'm so used to telling everyone all of the things that I'm doing. I want to hold it near and dear to my heart so that I can do it for myself instead of having to prove it to anyone else. So after that 30 days, I will happily share what I did and what I'm doing. But for now, I'm holding that far sacred within me because I feel like that's the right thing for me to be able to do. So again, you might be you might be using sugar as a coping mechanism at times. You might be using something like alcohol or other foods or drugs or medication. Whatever it is, there's often usually an emotional trigger beneath it that we are using because we're trying to cope with something, trying to avoid something, try to numb something. And it's important for us to look at these binge moments as teachers, not punishments, because if we go into it looking like as a punishment, we go down that same spiral. Here, we see it as a teacher, and then we can move forward and progress in that way. Now, of course, we know that queer shame, it's inherited, it's not chosen. It's being passed down from all these other generations and put onto us because shame is probably one of the only emotions that is put onto us because in order for us to feel shame, there has to be other people around us for us to feel ashamed of. Like, I'm ashamed of myself in comparison to XYZ or in comparison to that. So for us, shame has been inherited onto us and we felt it deeply because of society and how it's treated us. And we have to really understand that this generational, societal, and religious roots of shame has caused us to feel this way and to often go to unhealthy coping mechanisms to deal with it. And it's important for us to realize that shame is not ours to carry, but it is our responsibility to release and to heal it. And the best way to do that is healing through self-awareness, not perfection, not striving to be perfect, not striving to never have a piece of sugar again, never having a cookie ever again, but to really understand through self-awareness that in that moment I was dealing with shame. And where did that shame came from? It came from XYZ. And for me, the shame came from the expectations of how I should look and show up for other people in order for me to be seen a certain way. And so in me eating all of these cookies and feeling like I'm getting fat and feeling like I'm not good enough or that I'm a fraud, that will only push me further down into the shame. And then I'll want to use something again in order to numb the feelings of shame. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to go down the cycle of shame and go in a cycle of dealing with it, coping with it, dealing with it, coping with it, dealing with it, coping with it. I'm completely sure that you understand what I'm talking about because I'm sure you've all been down one of those shame spirals at one. You've survived closets, shame, rejection, silence, perfectionism, burnout, and heartbreak. But survival was never the end goal. It's time for your queer comeback. I'm Christiano Green, queer transformation coach and the creator of the Queer Comeback, a free webinar for LGBTQIA plus souls ready to heal, ready to rise, and ready to reclaim who the F they are. This isn't self-help, it's queer soul revival. Inside this masterclass, I'll share the 3 things every queer person needs to know to finally break free from society's judgments, awaken their queer spirit, and live unapologetically, spiritually, emotionally, and fully embodied. You weren't born to shrink. You were born to come back louder, softer, fiercer, wiser, queerer than ever. This is your invitation to come home to yourself. Join the Queer Comeback free, live, transformational, because your next chapter doesn't start with shame, it starts with you. Sign up now, link in bio. Now, there's always this thing in life where 2 things can be true at once. And so the truth is that you can be fit and you can still emotionally eat at times. It's okay. As long as you're great or, 90% of the time or 95% of the time you have one little moment here and there, it's not going to affect all of those results there. Just, of course, the better you are, the better results you might have, or you might notice that you have to do some things to shift if you are going to be doing that. But allow yourself, if that's what you want and it's going to help you at times, it's okay to have a couple of cookies at a time. Like, it really is. Of course, for me, the binge, I don't want to go down maybe that far. We're going to be that far because it doesn't feel right for me. I think all that sugar also had a play on me when I don't have a lot of sugar as well. So I will realizing not how my body reacts to things as well. And it's also true that you can be grateful and jealous at the same time. You can be wise and messy. You can be, happy for people, but also proud for yourself. Like, 2 things can be true. 2 emotions can be there as well. And you don't have to think that one of them has to be right and one of them has to be wrong. They both can coexist as well. And so it's important for us as queer people to realize that, of course, you can have joy in eating the cookie, but also feel shame for that. And so in order for you to work through it, how do you reclaim the joy without having the shame? What actions can you take to feel the joy or to feel the presence or to feel whatever you're trying to feel? Is there a smarter, healthier way to do that? Now, it could be that you're watching something that really entertains you, calling a friend. It could be going for a nice walk. It could be cooking yourself something really nourishing. Whatever it might be, there's always going to be a healthier option as well. One that you can get the joy, maybe get the emotional, release that you're looking for without having the shame. So it's about allowing pleasure in moderation. Maybe it's have one cookie, only order one cookie, and that's all you're going to have. And be prepared to only enjoy the one cookie. But also just really understanding that for me and for all of you out there, that we need to be honoring our bodies as both a temple and a playground. And I think that in order for us to be able to understand that and do that, we just have to trust ourselves, trust in the ability that we have to be human beings, because we're all humans. I'm not a perfect, specimen outside of the human world. I am just Christiano. I'm on a journey. I'm living each day. Sometimes do great things. Sometimes they're not up to my standards and I fall behind. But you know what? Human. And I can either say and accept, that this has happened and learn so that I can be better next time, or I just accept that it's going to happen. But I don't, which path I want to take is I've learned from it. I'm going to move forward. I don't want to have these sugar binges. Personally, I know for my best self and my highest self and the version that I see myself in right now, I don't want to have that. But if something happens, I'm going to learn from it, like I did from this experience. And I'm going to stop pushing myself down spiral of shame, because that doesn't take me anywhere. That doesn't help me. But what can I do to accept the situation, accept the learnings, and accept that me moving forward is going to be something that's really good and honest for my heart, my soul, and my mind. All right, I want to be your stories. Have you had any shame spiral stories that when you related to what I'm talking about today? Comment below, share this episode with someone, tag someone, subscribe, send us a review. Do what you can, because we really, 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 really appreciate all that you all do to be a part of the Queer Grace community, to be a part of this community on the podcast. And so again, if there's certain topics that you'd love for me to talk about, I've got a whole nother episode that I bring out every single week, which is focused on things that are so important to queer people as well. Great topics. This Dear Christiano series is literally me talking about something going on in my life and kind of normalize myself instead of trying to feel like I have to show up as perfection. This is me being a bit messy, me coming out here and blah, blah, blah. We're not having something fully prepared, but other just knowing about the topic and knowing what's in my heart and sharing it with you in a way that I hope is beneficial to all of you. So you listening now, I love you. I see you. I honor you. Always remember that you've got this. I've got you. And I'll be back very soon with another episode. Bye for now.